Hello, welcome to Skye Sweaty Record Review, episode 152, the only first listen new music review show hosted by a French professor immediately after leaving the gym. So today I'm going to be reviewing an album called Beyond the Senses by Rezz, and I wasn't going to. I've already reviewed one sort of EDM album this week with DJ Snake, and I don't know, there's other kind of like rock albums I wanted to do, and the main thing is like I had this feeling that like I just don't know how to review like techno, electronic dance music. I've done a lot of reviews, but I have a hard time figuring out like how do I quantify, how do I talk about it? Because too often it feels to me that people just sort of know the words that define a genre, and then they say those words and then they move on. But I want to try to find something a little bit more specific and maybe even more universal that treats electronic music more like music than like products of a particular genre. So that's why I decided to study or to present this group. Also, she's apparently from Niagara Falls, which is like, an hour away. So she's basically local here in Rochester, New York, although she's from the Canadian side. So I guess that makes her cooler. So what I decided to do was create some kind of system. And I thought about this. The album's only 20 minutes long and my workout was like an hour, so it gave me some time to formulate this. So I created Skye Sweaty Record Reviews BAMC scale. So what I want to do is I want to go through each of these elements for every electronic album I review and talk about how the album scores. So we have beats, like what are the rhythms like, atmosphere, like how does it feel, like what's it trying to evoke, melody, if there is any, how is it, is it memorable, is it catchy, is it well constructed, sounds, how are the sounds chosen and employed. And that's one thing about techno or electronic dance music that's so different. So much of it is about like using the right sounds at the right time. And then interest, like how is it interesting? Like what did they do to make it innovative and more than just another product? So I'm going to put my BAMC scale up on the wall here. So can you read that? Yeah, I'll put that there. It's okay. I gave this poster to my son so I can put another hole in it anyway. It was free and I have extras. So there's my BAMC scale in the back. So let's go through this album, kind of through each of these different stages and see if this works. Obviously there's 5 of them, so I'm going to do 4 points per each for a total score of 20. No, I'm not going to do that. I don't see any point in assigning a number scale. First of all, you're not children, so you don't have to look at a number and say, oh, this is a 13 out of 20. Moreover than that, if I review it, it means it's good, or I think it's good. I don't review things I think are trash or are not worth listening to or not worth checking out. So if you see I did a review of something, then just listen to it and then watch my review and see if you agree. That's my dream. That's my dream of what this channel will be, is someday people will see, oh, well, Skye reviewed it, so there's got to be something interesting to it. And then hopefully we can even start a kind of conversation. Kind of on a side note, I watched The Needle Drop, the #1 music reviewer on YouTube. I really like his stuff. I didn't watch any of his things before I started doing my show, so it was interesting to see how someone does it who is very successful. And he completely trashed the Chance the Rapper album. I mean, gave it a 0 out of 10. And it was funny because everything that he said I agreed with. I just took a different take. So he would give like a lyric and be like, can you believe how weak that is? And I'd be like, that was clever and fun. So anyways, no number scales. It's all relative. Maybe you like this album, maybe you won't. I liked it a lot. Like I said, it's pretty short. It's very consistent. It's a very good listen. There are very few low points. But let's go bit by bit. Let's start with beats. The rhythms here aren't particularly interesting. It's mostly kind of 4 on the floor. They're mostly booming though, which I like. Kind of like driving beats, good to exercise too. Nice movement at times. The main thing that she does well is she creates a lot of like breaks. So there'll be points where the rhythm goes and then there'll be like a stop and then something will happen. And in general, there's a good amount of dynamism with the beats. Not really in the way that they change, but just in the sort of loud and the soft and the kind of anticipation that's built in. 5 out of 5. No, I'm just kidding. As far as the atmosphere goes, that's maybe the most interesting thing about this record. My description is it's spacey and aggressive. So at times it really feels kind of ethereal, like on a song like Stress, where she's like kind of whispering and like, I know how to take the bounds off your mind and stuff like that. And then other songs, like the opening track, are very kind of aggressive and upbeaty and got some of that wagga wagga that I like and that I describe. And so I would say it's a nice combination of those couple things. Melody. It's not very melodic in general. Like there's 2 songs really where there's anyone singing. The first one is the second track. It's called Falling, and it's like, sounds like Linkin Park. I mean, it's not that bad, but it's okay. Like the song itself is well enough made that it's not, I don't skip it, you know. I was able to listen to it twice, you know. Long workout. I didn't skip it, but it definitely was the low point. Then there's another track where there's a little bit more singing. It's a little bit nicer. That's a song called Lonely. That's mainly interesting because of the way that she takes the voice and then cuts it up with the beat and does that in kind of a nice way. The sounds are very well chosen. Some of them are kind of unexpected. I'll get to this in the interesting point, but a nice usage of organic sounds mixed in with more electronic sounds. In general, I think they're very well chosen. They're not always the flashiest sounds, but on a song like, I have to find my notes here, sounds, what track am I talking about? Yes, Your Soul Will Never Be Released. Kind of a goth title, has a really nice kind of buzzy synthesizer that runs throughout it, and it adds to this general atmosphere, this kind of spacey, occasionally menacing atmosphere. And then finally, interest, which is the most important part. I almost said interesting part. I say interesting way too much on this channel. I'll never make it to 1,000 followers if I say interesting every 5 minutes, but it's okay. So really what I like the most is that the mixture of organic sounds that are used to punctuate the electronic sounds. So a great example, which I'll play for you soon, a song called Kiss of Death. She's able to mix in like these drum rolls. She's able to mix in like human kissing. She's able to mix in someone saying stop with all these electronic like beds underneath. And it creates its own kind of rhythm, and it makes the sounds and the whole feel a lot more interesting. So I'm going to play you 1 second. I somehow forgot my computer over there, but I'm not gonna edit it because I didn't get 300 followers by editing. I have to put in my password here. Kanye. That's still not my password, but it's still funny to me. So I'll play you a little bit of Kiss of Death just to give you a feel of how this Bampsy works, okay? This is definitely my favorite track on the album. Although, for the most part, the whole thing's really solid, and I actually liked it all. So, it starts off with that kind of ominous, spacey sound that I described. And I lost the copyright. So she's gonna get the half a penny that I make on this video. That's okay, she can keep it. So it starts off with that kind of ominous sound. And then here's the album cover, just so you can kind of see what it looks like. Apparently she looks like that at all of her concerts. I did a little bit of research beforehand. But you have like that voice saying, "Kiss of," and those ominous sounds coming up, and there's going to be a drum beat. Like, I think now. Oh no, that's right. It kind of builds up. There's a little bit. I don't know how to feel about the 4th, 16th, 30-second note stuff in techno. It's so tired, but it works. So, okay. To give you an idea of how this sounds, you hear the cutouts and the beats. Here we go.
Stop.
So I think you get that sense. The aggressive atmosphere, of the wow, 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 the spacey, and the cutting in with stop. So there you go. There's my review. On the Bampsy scale, out of 20, I would give it a purple, which is one of the better scores. If I had to give a 3-word review, I'll just go with what I said for the atmosphere. Spacey and aggressive. I like that. All right, well, until next time, where I'm hopefully going to review something that's not on the Bampsy scale, but is somewhere else, there's the camera.